So welcome to Fatal from Friday. For this episode, we are going to dive into a Christmas murder. Specifically, this murder does involve a child, and it does involve witchcraft. So if the murder of a child isn't really a topic you want to listen to right now, I definitely understand. I have other cases that don't involve the death of a child and are kind of less intense because this is kind of one of the more intense scale. However, this case is not as well known. I thought it should be talked about. So, of course, let me know what your thoughts are down below regarding this case. And with that being said, I'm going to quit my rambling and let's go get started. Our story starts off with a boy named Kristy. Kristy Bamu was born on October 21st, 1995. So he had a sister named Vies who was 22. He had another sister named Kelly who was 20. He had two additional sisters who apparently weren't named. Because I guess they weren't at the place where the incident happened at. So I guess they decided to not name those sisters. And then there's an 11-year-old and a 13-year-old. Now, obviously, the 11 and 13-year-old, they aren't named because they're minors. Now, obviously, they're adults now. By the time of the incident, there's laws protecting minors' names from getting released. Unless they were the murder victim. Then obviously that would be an exception. Or if they were the killer, then their names are not publicly released due to their age. So, Kristy did in fact have an older sister named Magali, who was born on February 21st, 1983 in Zaire, which apparently is now the Democratic Republic of Congo. So I'm going to refer to it as Congo since that's what it is now, apparently. So she was living with aunts and uncles for the first 5 years of her life. Her family had fled to Paris, France to escape the war that was going on in Congo. So the father of all these kids, he decides he's going to start a carpentry business in Paris. He would move back to Congo in 1996. So I guess the war was over and tensions were down the point. So he decided to move back. Magdalene was staying with her niece Bibi and Bibi's husband Ferdinand in East London. So then she decides after she finishes school, she's working as a receptionist, and then she becomes a dental nurse. So things are actually looking pretty up for Magdalene at this point. That isn't unfortunately until of course she meets a man by the name of Eric Kumi, however you pronounce it. He was born in 1983. His mother would unfortunately die in childbirth, so obviously the mother's not around. So father's raising him, and the father is a gold trader, so nothing really bad there. He would, of course, start learning about Kadoki, which apparently is the witchcraft thing I mentioned earlier. And it's this belief that basically is believed to be behind a lot of demon possession in children, essentially. And so Eric, he had played soccer himself and then eventually decided to become a soccer coach. It didn't say whether he got injured and couldn't play in the big leagues. And so he decided to do soccer coaching, or he just decided I'm better off as coach than I am as an actual player, because some people go that route too. It didn't specify. And so of course, as far as him and Magdalene, they are starting to date, so they're boyfriend girlfriend, and it gets to the point to where she can't wear makeup, she can't go out and see her friends, she can't leave the house without him. Basically starting to get very controlling. And unfortunately, it said that Magdalene's family actually really liked Eric, and obviously they didn't know this was going on. And so they thought Magdalene was generally happy, but no, she's over here in this controlling relationship. And so then of course, he's talking about Kadoki a lot to Magdalene. He would move around a lot, apparently himself, to get away from the spirits, because I guess he thought that's how spirits work. And then, so here's where the story starts getting intense. In 2008, they had a mutual friend named Naomi. Yeah, that's how you say it. One of them saw her biting her nails, which apparently that's what the Kadoki saw as a sign of possession. You just simply biting your nails. And for the next 3 days, they didn't allow her to eat or sleep. The two would apparently pray for her for all those 3 days. And I'm assuming, obviously, she would have to be staying at their place for her to not be allowed to eat or sleep. And then they apparently she had really long hair that she was really proud of, which hell, I would be too if I had naturally long hair. They cut that shit really short. She was somehow able to call her mom eventually, say, "Can you come get me?" The mom was able to come get her, and then she got out. And I guess charges were never filed on her. Charges were never filed on the two that I at least saw. Because I feel I feel that's at least kidnapping. We could at least got you on that. So, of course, Eric, he gives Magdalene a black eye. I guess she decides that's it. We gotta leave because now he over here give me black eyes and shit. So she leaves Eric. I guess the relationship ends. She goes into a women's shelter for battered women, which I'm glad they have that internationally, not just here in America. Goes to a women's shelter and is apart from Eric for 3 months. After the 3 months, she decides she's gonna go back to Eric. Eric apparently proposes, and apparently she proposes back, and now they're engaged. So remember I said Kristy and all the younger siblings? Yeah, they came over to visit from Paris when they were still in. And this story takes place in London. So they're coming over to London because now Eric and Magdalene, they're engaged. They have an apartment together. So the family's like, hey, can we send over your siblings to go spend Christmas with y'all? So I guess Magdalene was like, yeah, sure. So then they send the siblings up for Christmas. And then, of course, Eric and Magdalene, they started accusing Kristy of doing Kadoki because apparently he was trying to wait for the bathroom and had wet his pants in the process. He is a teenage boy, so obviously he's going to be embarrassed. He don't want to know that he pissed himself. So he put the shorts underneath, like, the kitchen sink. And it said that Eric found them, and they started getting on him really bad. Because apparently, wetting your pants is also apparently a sign of Kadoki. So Eric, of course, like I said, he would attack the other kids. But like I said, Kristy had the worst since they actually saw a sign that they believe was Kadoki. And they were saying, like, basically beating them until they were saying, like, yes, we were witches and we were willing to repent. So they used broken floor tiles to stab him. They used pliers to pull his ears. Broke bottles over his head and apparently tried to break some of his teeth. So this included Kristy apparently being starved and not allowed to eat for 4 days. They were also made to pray multiple times a day, basically, I guess, like, to get the spirits away. So then, of course, the parents, they're checking up on the kids, make sure they're okay, they're adjusting, because, there's a lot of kids we sent over. They're trying to contact kids. Ain't nobody answering, so, of course, that's a little suspicious. Eventually, they get a hold of Kelly, who, like I said, was 20. She actually had a knife to her throat by Eric while she was on the phone. So, of course, she's not going to say anything wrong. Because, she ain't trying to get cut. So, then the couple decided the other kid somehow get the other kids to eventually, like, turn on Kristy, their own brother. And, like, one of them had did something to him to cause, like, one tooth to come out. And then they were like, and then they would eventually start chiseling at his teeth, causing most of his teeth to come out, apparently. So a neighbor, because like I said, they're in apartments, so obviously there's neighbors. A neighbor would complain about all the noise that they're hearing, not knowing I hope they didn't know what was going on. And they obviously go to the manager to complain, like the apartment manager, as one does. And then the apartment manager sends the plumber. The plumber did not go physically inside the apartment, but he did hear a lot of water splashing around. And so this is the part that kind of hurts me, if you really think about it. Eric actually called Pierre, which is the father of all these children, including Kristy, remember? And he says, come get your child, Kristy, before I kill him. And of course, Pierre thought that Eric was joking. And Kristy himself even said, no, Eric is literally going to kill me. And so then, of course, they're trying to get a rental car, hurry up and get the hell to London. But it's apparently, he called on Christmas Eve. Obviously, Christmas Eve, most places are either closed or they're like sold out and ain't nobody gonna help. So we're gonna wait till 27th when it's no longer the holidays. And we're going to go up there like we originally planned. So then on the faithful day of Christmas Day, 2010, so December 25th, so the day after he made that call to Pierre, Eric and Magdalene are over here beating Kristy. They're beating him with, like, hammers, metal pieces, a chisel, and knives. And Kristy at this point apparently is, like, pleading for death. They claimed that they were trying to do a ritual on him in the bathtub, so they put him in a bathtub at one point, and this is where he drowns, of course, so now Kristy's dead. So, of course, Kelly would be the one who have to make the call and fortunately tell their parents that Kristy was dead, and Christmas is, sadly, that was their mother, Jacqueline's birthday, so then, of course, police are called. All the other children, they're found with injuries, but still alive. They're all huddled up in a corner, and they're covered in blood and water. So, of course, Eric and Magdalene are arrested. So, you know how, like, when there's, like, trials and shit, you gotta have a jury duty, and all that good shit? So, yeah, when the trial was apparently finished, the judge actually told the jury that you would never have to serve on jury duty ever again due to the brutality of this case. So that was a first for me. So that's how you know it was bad. If the judge says, oh, you ain't gotta do jury duty ever again. So then Eric will say that, oh, I have a brain, there's something wrong with his brain. And so that's how he believed that the kids were witches. And the judge said he actually believes them. However, you did prolong the abuse, therefore it's unacceptable. Magdalene, of course, she was trying to get out scot-free, but it was all Eric's fault. The judge luckily didn't believe this. Eric did at least plead guilty to bodily harm and murder. And Magdalene said she's not guilty of anything, so she pled not guilty on all charges. So, of course, both were found guilty and sentenced to life. Eric must serve a minimum of 30 years and Magdalene a minimum of 25 years. So then, yeah, that's pretty much a Christmas case that involves witchcraft and murder. So yeah, definitely know what you think down below. If you have any more cases that I should talk about, definitely if those are not, preferably those are not as well known, because I feel like those cases should be, especially if there's like a child involved that was a victim. or victims. So yeah, with that being said, that's all I have for this case. I'm here for you guys 3 times every Friday, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.